everyone to drawing together with me. Today we are going to make a tile, and we made 3 of these coasters for now. And I have a last one that I'm gonna work with today. And I think these will make a great Christmas gift. And we are going to use some of the patterns that we made on the last page. So let me put these to the side. And then I am going to take my Translucen Z tile here. It's hard to see it, but it's here. And I'm gonna place that on my work surface here. And then I'm going to make my dots in the corners. Actually, I need to relax first and be grateful for today and be grateful for making this tile together with you. Relaxing my shoulders, taking a deep breath, and just be ready for working. And then we make the 4 dots. Then I'm gonna connect my dots with a line for my border of the tangle. And I am thinking of starting with this pattern here. So I want to have a panel for that one right here. And I'm thinking of trying to do my favorite pattern around here. And then I want to put some other things here and something there. Now let's see how that goes. So let's start with the first one, this pattern. Let's see. I'm just thinking if I want a border around it, but I don't think so. So let's just get started. That is the shape. And then you continue with that shape all the way down. I think mine got a little bigger while going down here, but oh well. And actually I think I'm gonna make one kind of coming from that side. Then I am gonna go in here and correcting this corner a bit, and then making this one black. And I'm gonna do the same down here, making it thick in the corner, or in the rounding, not the corner. And I'm gonna do this everywhere. And you can always correct the rounding you have on the first shape when you're coloring in like this. And up here as well. And down here. Give that a tiny bit. And then I'm just gonna continue all the way down my string here. Or my border. Just taking my time with this. Continuing Relaxing in my shoulders, my wrist and my fingers. I don't choke my pen here. Because if I loosen my grip on my pen, then I also rest a tiny bit more in my fingers and my hands. And then you don't push the pen too much down into the paper, because we won't do that. We don't want to do that. And I'm just taking my time with this. Trying to do it quite neat. We don't want to rush this tangle session at all. So now I am going in here and finding these in between rooms. And I'm auraing it and coloring that in. So here. And coloring that in. So it's kind of a triangular shape I get. Next one. And some of them are going to be bigger than other, and that's all fine. Next one. And then we're gonna do all that again, but on the other side. If you're working in more colors, you can always color in these triangular shape in another color if you want to. Sadly, I got mine a tiny bit away from the side edge here, and it's also a little crooked, but it doesn't really matter in the done result. So I am just gonna leave it like it is. I can get that a little closer to the pattern. It's okay to go back to a spot you already did color in and correct it a tiny bit if you need to. I want a tiny edge there. It's your creation, so you can actually do exactly what you want to. I'm just showing you one way to do a tile, a translucency tile. This can be done in so many ways. So just have your fun with it and see what you like and what you don't like. And remember, it is only paper, so it's okay. And that was the end piece, so I am cutting that triangular shape off a tiny bit so that it looks right. There we go. And I was thinking of maybe turning it around before continuing. And then I want to make a line here, an aura line. It's okay. And one on this side. Kind of framing in my little border line here. Let me see, I need to see where I have my string. It's right here in this corner. So I am gonna turn this one around, or do my stuff here on the back side. I'm thinking of making a line here, just going to the corner because I'm gonna pop in another pattern here around that one. But here I am gonna put in this pattern. Oh, this is one of my favorite patterns, so I am gonna pop in a smaller version of that right here, making my first 3 leaves, and then I am going to make my lines here. And I'm curving them. You can always straighten them out on the middle and then curve them to the other side, but in here I think I'm just gonna go ahead with curve to one side. Again, this is your work of art, so you can do it exactly like you want to, even if the step out is a bit different, doesn't really matter. Doing the rounding between each of these lines. Actually, it's kind of rounding off here where the lines come down, but I kind of tend to do it in one big movement, and then I color in afterwards. And again, you can do this just the way you want to. I just find that I get the curves a lot neater when I do the curves first and then color in. There we go. So that's the first part of the pattern. Then we're going to start around the middle of one of these and make one of those. It's kind of the top of a heart. And I'm popping that in everywhere like that. And then again, I'm popping in the lines starting from the middle here. And I think I'm just gonna keep the curve going this way. Doing it in the next one. Okay, I'm turning this one a tiny bit. Next one. And then we are gonna go in with the rounding. Coloring that in. Next one. And this is again a pattern where you need to take your time, because it takes a little to color in all these roundings. But the result of that is really pretty. There we go. I think I'm gonna make one more round here, respecting my borders. So this one shouldn't take as long to do. And out here as well. And then of course we are going to make the lines. All the way around here in these leaves, and in the next one, or petals. It's more like a flower with a lot of petals than it's a leaf. There we go, and then a rounding. This one has a tricky shape. That's the word. So I think I'm just gonna correct the shape a tiny bit here. And then this little end here. Over here. Again, respecting my border because I have another pattern right here behind it. There we go. And then this one, well, we have to do it all. And coloring that in. Taking my time with this. And I actually want to have a third little one here to kind of connect the gap here, and then I also can get this little piece here used so that I don't have an open space down here, because I don't want that. There we go, and then the last time with the roundings. Perfect, and down here. There we go. I actually think that turned out pretty neat. So I am going to make another border around here, and I am going to do this one, and I just had to find it here so that I'm sure I do this the right way. And I'm just thinking if I need to do it on one side of this card or the other. Just a second. Everything is kind of teasing me right now. There we go. I could do it on this side, but I could go and do it here. Actually, I think I am going to do it on this side. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of this soft waved lines. Nothing big on this one, just soft waves. And I'm ending right here where we have the line on the other side. Now we are gonna go in and make bigger waves. How big you make them is up to you, but I want enough room for more on this little piece of paper, so I'm not gonna do them too big. Then we're gonna make the eyes here, or the top of a heart, just 2 bumps, and I'm respecting my borderline. 1, 2 bumps. And we're gonna do that on all of these. And some of them are getting a little tiny here on the outside, but that is all fine. You just need the 2 bumps. 1, 2. 1, 2. Oops. Oh well, it had its own life. And that's all fine. And then I'm gonna go in and find all these, and I'm gonna make a black ladybug here in inside of that. Have I ever told you that that clock you can hear in the background, that was my grandmom's on my mother's side, and every time it is ringing it brings back memories of my grandmom that I really loved. She haven't been among us for the last 24 years now. And I still miss her. But that is her old clock. And I'm so happy that I got it. Because it really brings back memories. Good ones. Anyway, we're almost done with these eyes here. I think it's kind of a cute little tangle. Kind of looks like a little frog looking over a fence if you're just singling out one of them. Don't rush the last one. Sometimes we see, oh, I only need 1 or 2, and then you're rushing. You don't want to do that. Keep taking your time with this. So I'm going to turn this one over, and then I'm gonna make a border around this pattern. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry about that. I just had a scam phone call, so we just hang up on those and then continue our daily life. And I am trying to go slow here. I'm not that good at slow, but I'm really trying. And the last one. There we go. I like that. Okay. So I want to make this pattern as I really like it. And I was thinking of making it going one way or the other here. It doesn't really matter what way I'm gonna pop it. I think actually I'm gonna go this way. So I'm gonna make my line. And from that one I'm gonna make another line. Kind of making a little tree with a few branches, careful you don't put too many on there, because we want to make that little flowery thing. It's just a few lines made in a circle so that you have that empty circle on the inside, and it doesn't have to be perfectly round to look good. You just want it to be round-ish. I'm just gonna make a little branch more here. I did have a hard time with this one at the start, but today I'm just doing it because I have been doing it so much. If you have a hard time with it, you could take a pencil and then make your circle and then do the little black things, and then you can always use your Tortillion to erase the little circle so that you don't have to use a eraser. And now I am going to go to give me a second here, it is teasing me. I have my iPad here in the background helping me with the step outs, because some of these step outs are more difficult than others. Some of these I know by heart, but when I am doing them here on camera, I want them to be as true to the step out as they can be. So I'm going to take this one, let me do that with this finger, this one right now, and I'm gonna pop that in right here. So I'm gonna start with the top outline, and that's just kind of a squiggly line that goes in kind of a half circle. And then I'm gonna do one more behind that one, and I think I'm gonna pop in one more right here like that. Then I'm gonna make a dot around the middle of the opening, and from that one I am going to draw a line down to where I want these to grow from. There we go. And then I'm gonna go in from the dot, making a line to that line we made. And just like this flower here, we are going to make lines go all around, but these one are straightening out as we come to the top, and then they are going to turn around and go to the other side, and then ending on the line. And we're gonna do that everywhere. I think I'm gonna go this way instead. I like that better. The straighter line, and then starting to curve it to the other side. Like that. And the last one. I like it better the other way. Starting to straighten it out and going the other way. And there we have that pattern. So it's quite simple, but I think it looks really neat. I am actually thinking of popping in one more here behind it, everything. Nah, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. Now I want to tie everything together, so I am going to turn this one around, and I'm going to make a grid here. So let's see, I'm respecting my lines on the other side, so I'm just making my grid, but without going through anything, so I'm lifting up my pen when I hit the pattern on the other side. Lifting up my pen, lifting up my pen, lifting up my pen, and one more time. Doesn't matter about those lines there. That one got wonky, but I think it's okay. Until that pattern behind the other one and one down here. I actually think you should be able to see that line there. And then we're gonna go the other way so that we are building squares. I wanted to pop in a grid tangle on this one because I know few of you really love the grid tangles, and they are kind of easy to do as well because you have a grid, you know what to do and what not to do, so it's kind of a closed tangle somehow because it's made in the grids. Lifting up my pen. I think I need one right here. And right there. So that's the start of this. You could actually leave it like that if you wanted to, because that looks pretty neat as well. So here I should be coloring in some of these blacks, but first I am going to make the lines. So I'm just picking one of these, and I'm going with the straight lines here. Skipping one of them and making a straight line in the next. There we go. Then I am skipping this line here and going down here. And I have lines here, so I'm going to have lines in this box that we have here behind this pattern. So I would have lines in this one as well. And here I am going to respect the pattern on the other side as good as possible. Going over here, doing the same. Popping in a bunch of straight lines, or as straight as possible. They don't really need to be 100% straight. And this one. And again, I'm respecting my border line on the other side, or my aura line. Jumping this row, going down, and I can see I need this one to be with the stripes, and again I am respecting the pattern on the other side. And here. And this one. And then this little corner down here. Okay, so now I am going to turn my tile a tiny bit around, and then I'm gonna go into these lines where we didn't do anything, and I'm gonna make the lines in the opposite way so that the lines kind of frame these empty grid pieces. Respecting my border. And whoops, wrong one. There we go. So that we get this chessboard look. Respecting my border lines / aura lines and my patterns. Down here, this one. This one. And this little corner here. And this one. Again, respecting my patterns and my borders. There we go. And now I should actually color in this black and this black. That should be white, this should be black. But I have all these patterns on the other side, so I'm not sure I'm gonna do that because it's I don't want the black over these pattern because I'm thinking they could kind of disappear. Because if I do this one, then I should do this one, and I don't want to do that one. So I could do this one, and this one. I'm not sure what to do right now. I think I am going to honor the pattern itself and color in these pieces black. Just making kind of a fussy thing around the flower pieces here. Taking my time with coloring this in so that I don't do anything I don't want to by mistake. But you could have ended where I continued. So that was black, so this is gonna be black. Again, I'm gonna respect the pattern on the other side. So I'm outlining that first so I know where not to go. And then I'm just coloring in this little square with my black. And this one. That's an easy one because I don't have any patterns on the back side to be careful of or mindful of. So I am just coloring in the square. So we did this row, so we are jumping over this one, and we are going to color in this one. And again, I'm careful around my pattern from the other side of this paper. And here it should not be a big deal because this black one will look grayish on the other side. So now we actually do have a front and a back on this tile. I don't really like that. But the other side will look better than this one when it's all done. I like it better when both sides are looking neat, but here we won't be able to see where these flowers are coming down. So this is definitely the back side of this tile. And then here we have some more of these flowery things that I want to go around. And that's the part that takes the longest, that is coloring in all these pieces. But the result is hopefully pretty good. So leaving this one and coloring in this row right here. So we are almost done with the tangling on this one. And that's where you need to be careful that you don't go crazy, because you can see an end for you. Sometimes you just try to go faster because, oh, I'm almost done. But try to relax and still enjoy the coloring in of these pieces here. And the last little one, where I need to respect this little aura line. You can see if I go too fast right here, I most likely go out over the aura line, and I don't want to do that. There we go. Cap this one. I actually didn't put any chops on these. I just noticed that right now. I don't have my chop on any of them. That wasn't how it was supposed to go. So I have a front and a back on this tile, and that's just how it is. So I'm thinking maybe popping in my little chop right here. And now it is at least at one of these. Anyway, let's do some shading here. I am starting with the inner leaves or petals here. Just popping on some graphite around there. Be careful with your graphite on this Translucen Z tiles, because it might not look like much, but you really can smush this graphite around a lot on these tiles, so you don't want to have too much on there. It's better to start with a little graphite and then pop more on there if you think you have a little too little. Okay, now these next layers of leaves, petals, thingies. And again, with my Tortillion, I am going to soften that out. All the way around. And the last layer here, I am going to give that as well, because this flower is kind of lying on top of this pattern underneath here. Carefully around the flowers, because I don't want it to go over the flowers. So I'm kind of avoiding that little flower. I like that. And then these I am giving a tiny bit here where all the lines come together. That's always a good place to pop in a shading where all the lines are coming together. There we go. And you could pop in a tiny bit of a little darkness in these. Actually, I think I have more than enough on my Tortillion for this. You don't need to do this, but I think it gives them a tiny bit of life. Turn it around. And I was thinking of doing some shading here along this side, or this line here. Respecting that pattern on the other side and giving this with my Tortillion. And you could go around here giving this border thing here a tiny bit of darkness on this backside. But again, it's up to you. If you don't want to do this, then don't. And if you think it's cool, then pop it in. There we go. And then, of course, using my Tortillion to soften that out. And I'm again careful that I don't go over the flowers thingies on the other side. So that is my tangle, my pattern. Let me take this one and open it. And this time I do have a front and a back. So this is the front because it has this kind of curve. So I am placing it in like this. And I'm not sure I showed you on the other pieces, but I am using some contact glue. And I am taking it and carefully popping a tiny bit here on this edge here where you don't have the piece of paper that we put on the pattern. I'm just putting in a tiny bit of glue. And then I'm gonna do it here on the raised line as well. And I'm careful that I don't get it onto my paper. And I'm doing this because I noticed that these connection here are not that stable. So they fall apart here and there. And if you have a drink or something that is watery around this tile, then you might actually ruin your tile. And now I'm just gonna leave it for a tiny bit before I am going to put it together. So just give me a few minutes. Okay, I gave it a minute or two to kind of harden before you put it together, because then the grip of the glue will be so much stronger. And then I'm just squeezing it, making sure the bond is really nice and good. There you are. And now that should not come apart again, and you don't even see the glue. You can see it a little here and there, but when it dries you won't see it anymore. So that was the last one of these coaster, and I actually think they came out really neat. That's a fun gift for a friend or a family member. Let me turn off that light. No, that's not that. That's my top light that's gonna go in there like that. Now it's easier to see them. It's a little darker, but it's easier. So that is the done set of 4 coasters. That was so fun to do. I had a lot of fun with this one. And that was the one for today. And you can see you can do a lot of fun things with these tiles. Especially these coasters are perfect in the size for a tile. You could also use a normal paper tile in here, but I think these Translucen Z's are kind of fun in this one, because you can turn it around and look on the other side of these, and you will have another cool picture on there. Kind of 8 different tiles in one. I don't like the back side of this one, but that's a me thing. Anyway, that is this I had for today. I hope you enjoyed that one. Thank you for watching. Have an attitude of gratitude.